I've worked it out. I have discovered the real reason why Meghan Markle made that totally bizarre Instagram post overnight with new pictures of her sort of lying with her face covered, weird shots of the garden, of course, Harry and a very odd looking Archie with a football ball. Oh yeah, that's her. We're going to get to the outfit, don't worry. And the chopping of the onions and the dirty t-shirt. But I think what's important is first to tell you why. Why did we get these totally bizarre images that Meghan Markle is calling springing into summer? It's because she wants to overshadow her own husband. So it's all going on today, and we're going to get into it all with royal YouTube sensation, according to Taz. So much weirdness going on, but I immediately, well, not immediately actually, I had to speak to some people, but pretty quickly it became clear that the timing of this post was because Time magazine had just dropped their big interview with Harry, and she wasn't part of it. It was as if she didn't exist. And so what does she do? Somehow get together a whole load of photos that she knew was going to steal the attention away. It's the flood the zone strategy. But when you're doing it to take away publicity from your own husband, there's certainly a more twisted aspect to it. That's before we even get to the to the pictures themselves, Tash.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, Meghan's narcissism really does shine on through. So, of course, that's going to affect every aspect of her life. She's going to be that way with her children. That's why Meghan spends thousands and thousands and thousands on herself, her hair, her makeup. You know, this is a woman that, well, she obviously spends a lot of money. She does have terrible fashion choices, but then she allows her children to be presented to the world wearing their pajamas, wearing dirty t-shirts and stuff. But for her to be competing against Harry, she's always been after Harry's attention. That's why she hangs on to him like a limpet, why she attaches herself to him like a koala bear. You know, there is a constant need to touch Harry, and people at first said, oh, look, that's sweet. And then people started seeing, oh, she's actually controlling him. She's getting him to move in different directions. She's getting him to move out of the way. But also it puts the attention back on her. No matter who she is with, her friend Kelly, who recently gave birth to a baby, Kelly McKee-Zafin, when she was there collecting an award at a charity that she started, Meghan draped herself over Kelly, you know, to the point Kelly had to move her head out of the way. I remember talking to you about it. Meghan has to be the star and she has to be the center. And she does not like Harry having any attention without her. And for her, this was the best an almost desperate attempt to get attention. And of course, it does give her attention, but those choices of photographs, well, there is certainly a lot to unpack there.
There is. And Tash, do we think it is an old picture with Harry?
Yeah.
Is it from 26? So why on earth do you put it in a summer dump for 2026? That's not even how Instagram works. I mean, it's not like a throwback.
No, I think it's more like an ownership. He's still mine. It's very much, I don't think Harry is quite so happy to pose for photos like that anymore. This is when they were building up the collection, weren't they? Behind the scenes for Megxit, for Netflix, for anyone that would be willing to buy the stuff. Let's not forget that these two have been planning this, I would say, even before the wedding. So this is part of the big payload that Meghan obviously got, because also, which worries me, at the top of that photo, not only does it say 2017, it actually says that she's got another 30,000 odd in the bank. Oh, Dan, have we got to go through another 30,000 of these drunken drops? I mean, I don't know if she was drunk, but the images that she chose were just so bizarre. It was so random. It was literally like she was just going eeny, meeny, miny, mo, or someone accidentally posted her deleted box. But yeah, really strange combination of photographs to have been posted.
Yeah, well, someone also said to me, Tash, and, you know, I'm just going to say what they said, that the picture of Harry and the football with Archie came just hours after I had recorded my after show yesterday with Angela Levin, talking about how Harry had been snubbed from the Football World Cup because of the row with David Beckham. Just saying, maybe a total coincidence, but certainly there seems to be an attempt to kind of take ownership of football as well, even though we're hearing he hasn't really been invited, certainly at this stage, to any of the big FIFA events.
Yeah, but I mean, you saw Dan. He's been listed as a sports personality in Time magazine, you know?
We're going to come to that. Trust me, we're going to come to that because it is a total cringe moment. But before we get there, the onions, Tash, seriously.
No.
Okay, now I will admit, everyone who knows me, Tash, knows I am a terrible cook. That is honestly how I cook onions. So weirdly, how I cut onions. So weirdly, I have some sympathy for her. But like, I'm the worst cook or chef in the world. I admit that. This is someone who believes that she's the boss of a global lifestyle brand.
Yeah, the onions did get me. It was absolute butchery, and it triggered something in me. Apparently, I've got an issue when things are not cut to the same size. I didn't even know it existed in me, but I was like, they're not going to cook evenly. And it really did like agitate me. But I mean, I cheat. I've got a ninja chopper where you just throw everything in and pull a string and it chops it all perfectly for you. But I mean, I'm not a chef. I can cook. But this is the whole board is what upset a lot of people. She's got raw meat on a wooden board, chopping onions. She's got so much crap around her. She's using a knife and doing that weird thing where she holds it with her finger. I mean, it's an accident waiting to happen. But 1 minute she's chopping the onion and then she's trying to shave it with the knife. You're like, she's already done crimes against scones, Dan. This is crimes against onions. We're going to have to seriously start a joint lawsuit to stop this woman from uploading videos of her in the kitchen. It honestly, what is she up to? Yeah.
Give it up. Give it up indeed.
What if the biggest royal story this week wasn't what Prince Harry said, but how Meghan Markle responded afterward? A new controversy is exploding online after Harry's latest solo interview left many viewers asking one question. Why was Meghan barely mentioned? And why did her social media activity suddenly become the center of attention just hours later? Let's break it all down. 4 years, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have presented themselves as a united team. Since leaving royal life, they've launched projects together, signed major deals, and built a global brand around their partnership. But recently, something seems different. Harry has increasingly appeared on his own at major events and interviews. Meghan, meanwhile, has been focusing on her own ventures and public appearances. Supporters say that's completely normal. Critics aren't so sure. The latest round of speculation began after Harry participated in a high-profile interview focused on his work and future plans. Viewers quickly noticed something. The conversation largely centered on Harry himself. There was little discussion about Meghan. Almost immediately, social media exploded. Some royal commentators claimed Harry appeared more independent than ever before. Others suggested he was trying to establish an identity separate from the Sussex brand. Then came Meghan's online activity. New posts appeared. Fresh content was shared. And within hours, critics began connecting the dots. Was the timing a coincidence? Or was Meghan attempting to redirect attention back toward herself? That question quickly became the internet's latest obsession. Screenshots spread across social media. YouTube channels started analyzing every detail. Comment sections turned into battlegrounds. Some people accused Meghan of trying to steal the spotlight. Others argued the criticism was completely unfair. After all, Meghan has continued posting regularly for months. Why should this moment be any different? The truth is that nobody outside the Sussex inner circle knows exactly what was happening behind the scenes. But that hasn't stopped the speculation. And that's because Harry and Meghan occupy a unique place in modern celebrity culture.
We have an interview in Time magazine. This is the one that Meghan decided to take the attention away from. Hilariously, Tash. Somehow he's talked his way into being the 100 most influential people in sport. And I think he got this because he agreed to give an interview to Time magazine. And look, it's not a great interview, actually. We'll go through it. He's talking about Invictus, and he says, it was so clear to me, let's invite as many countries as possible to make it international because clearly more countries need to benefit from this. He said that sport held him together. I was one of those kids at school who did not enjoy classroom work. So he's talking about after his mother's death. If it wasn't for the sports field and the amount of sports that were on offer, there's no way I would have stayed in school. He says that he's hoping to keep growing the Invictus Games and make it a 2-week event rather than one. That's a mistake because right now you're going to be lucky for it to go for even 1 week. And he says one thing that we really celebrate at Invictus is not only do we change lives, but we save lives as well. That's not based on anything other than the amount of individuals that come up to me and say, if it wasn't for Invictus, I would have killed myself. So obviously he loves talking about suicide, doesn't he, Tash? Do you know what I mean? All the time. He says to be amongst that community, those are the moments that I treasure. You wish that every society, every community had the same vibe about it. But the key thing is no mention of his wife at all.
Yeah, that is rather telling, isn't it? But do you know, just to quickly mention, I had someone contact me to do with the Invictus Games a while back, and obviously I don't know about the credibility of this, but it's a very interesting point. And they said that they contacted the Invictus Game to ask for help because they were struggling with a living situation, and the Invictus Foundation gave them a list of numbers of other charities to go to. So outside of actually playing the sports in the events, with Harry continuously talking about the mental health support and the anti-suicide prevention and everything else that the Invictus Games does, there is a potential there that they're just handing out numbers for other accredited agencies and companies, because Better Up, which I think is just a bunch of nonsense. I think it's life coaching rather than actually offering, you know, the sort of counselling that these people do need that have got serious mental health issues. And it's funny to see that, the fact that Harry is constantly praising the Invictus Games as saving lives, but they could be potentially just moving them on to other organisations. And this is the whole thing with the Invictus. It's become a bit of a farce. People don't trust it anymore. People do not trust the fact that Harry gets a job at Better Up and then Better Up come on board at the Invictus Games. People believe that Harry has financially benefited from that. And again, the waters are getting very muddied with every trip that they do when they go abroad. You know, we've had Colombia, we've had Australia, we've had Nigeria, and it all seems to center around the Invictus Games features there, and Ukraine as well. And I personally believe that Harry is having part of his lifestyle funded by the Invictus Games, and people are beginning to be more aware of the fact that foundations aren't necessarily helping the people that they should do. And you yourself have reported on the Invictus Games as well about the fact that people are walking away from it. Veterans are walking away from it. Sponsorships are walking away from it. And it's hardly surprising, really. I don't think Lily's got a modelling contract. I don't believe that that little model is Lily. I think, if anything, there's probably a closer chance that that little girl was used to portray Lily. I mean, you have to admit the side profile in that picture is rather similar. But then if people are tweaking with AI, they do put out similar style faces, similar characteristics. And I am becoming highly suspicious about Harry's sudden turnaround with showing the children continuously. And the pictures always seem off. They don't just seem contrived and set up. There's just always something. They seem completely photoshopped. There are just weird oddities. There are just things that are not right about it. And I'm beginning to wonder if the deal was with Harry and Meghan, and while they're so at odds about not showing your children on the internet, that he does allow Meghan to use images of the children, but only after they have been edited by AI. Archie, it's too late for Archie. They already put too many images out of him, as we know with Netflix, you know, so literally served him up on a silver platter, as it were, despite saying that about the royal family. But Lily, there's just too many inconsistencies. And this with, you know, that little girl, it could just be an AI tweak, because it would make sense, the reasons why Harry suddenly is okay with the children being used all of the time. But then, as I said, the photographs of the children always just look off. There's just something different. And it could be their way of going, oh, we're being super smart here. You know, we're editing the images of the children so you don't actually get to see their real face. And it could explain why something is never quite right with the photos.
Intriguing. Very, very
just a
odd.
theory.
But again, this is the issue, isn't it? If you're going to be so weird with your daughter and, you know...
They're creating that little girl to become a target.
Exactly.
They're creating her to become a target.
This is all their fault, regardless of what the truth about these actual pictures are. They are the ones who have created this total madness.
Every public appearance becomes a headline. Every interview creates debate. Every social media post generates theories. Whether they like it or not, the Sussexes remain among the most scrutinized public figures in the world. Supporters insist the couple are simply pursuing separate professional goals while remaining committed to one another. Critics believe the growing number of solo appearances may indicate a broader shift in strategy. Neither side has produced definitive proof. Yet the discussion continues to grow. What's especially fascinating is how quickly ordinary events become major controversies. A single interview, a few social media posts, a handful of online comments. Suddenly, a global debate is underway. That's the power of the Harry and Meghan phenomenon. People aren't just watching. They are analyzing, interpreting, speculating, and sometimes drawing conclusions long before all the facts are available. So what do we actually know? Harry gave an interview focused on his work. Meghan remained active online. Commentators connected those events. The internet took it from there. Everything else remains open to interpretation. Whether Meghan was reacting to Harry's interview or simply continuing business as usual is something only she truly knows. But one thing is certain. The fascination surrounding Harry and Meghan shows no signs of slowing down. Every move they make continues to generate headlines around the world. And as long as that remains true, stories like this will keep dominating the conversation. What do you think? Was Meghan's online activity perfectly normal? Or was the timing simply too convenient to ignore? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more royal news and analysis. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.